Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Okay, now this is interesting. I gotta admit this is real interesting. It's certainly not surprising, but it's definitely interesting. But right after this trainwreck Fox News Kamala interview, Bret Baier summons a Fox News panel to discuss the interview that had just transpired, and he gave us some really interesting insight, a backroom view of what was going on behind the scenes, and boy oh boy, is this a bad look for the Kamala campaign. Let me show you guys exactly what happened here. Again, interesting, but not shocking at all. Basically a continuation of the Joe Biden MO. You'll see what I mean in a second. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So obviously this Fox News interview was a complete train wreck. I think most people with 2 working brain cells and 2 eyeballs could have seen that. That's obviously my opinion and probably yours. But apparently it's not just us. It's also Kamala's campaign staff as well. Take a look at this.
When the kicker in football, they call a timeout right before he's going to kick the field goal. They're icing the kicker. So we were supposed to start at 5 p.m. This was the time they gave us. Originally, we were going to do 25 or 30 minutes. They came in and said, well, maybe 20. So it was already getting whittled down. And then the vice president showed up about 5:15. We were pushing the envelope to be able to turn it around for the top of the 6 o'clock. So that's how it started. And I could tell when we started talking that she was going to be tough to redirect without me trying to interrupt. I did this with President Obama. At one point I just said, Mr. President, I know you like the filibuster. I just didn't even have the chance to sometimes redirect in those ways. I had a lot of other questions. Dana, you've been on the other side. You've been on the rapper as a press secretary interviewing a president. And, I'm talking like 4 people waving their hands like it's got to stop. So Martha, I had to dismount there at the end. There's so many things, and she maybe should do more of these.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. Kamala Harris only wanted to do 25 to 30 minutes. Then, of course, they realized that would probably be a huge mistake, and so they said, no, actually, we'll only do 20 minutes. They showed up late, which delayed the whole production. And then apparently, later on in the interview, Fox News' Bret Baier could see Kamala Harris staffers waving, saying, come on, wrap this up. We gotta stop this now. You can't make this stuff up. It's actually insane. Everybody knows that she is a disaster, even her staffers. It's the exact same thing with her as it was with Joe. Like I've been saying, they got the same issue. They're both utterly incompetent. The only difference is she has no excuse. And the proof is in the pudding. They did this stuff with Joe Biden all the time. The guy kind of suffering from early stages of dementia or definite cognitive decline in old age. And so the White House staffers, the weekend at Bernie folk, they send Joe Biden out there, they pump him with whatever cocktail required and push him on stage. And then they're on the edge of their seat. Come on, Joe. Please, man, get through this sentence. At least one sentence. Please, Joe. And then, of course, as things start to derail, it's panic mode. Abort mission.
Have you and the vice president been tested for coronavirus?
Come on, guys.
Senator?
Thank you, guys.
Have you been tested
Come on, you
for
guys.
coronavirus?
Come on, let's go. Come on, thank you.
Domestic policy advice, and we'll get this discussion going, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to invite the press to exit before we start our
We saw 4 years of Joe Biden crumbling in these public events, and meanwhile his staffers trying to pull the plug on the thing. All right, guys, get away, get out of here, get out of the room. This thing is over. That's a wrap. Abort mission. That's what we saw with Joe, and now we're seeing the same thing with Kamala Harris. Her staffers on the edge of their seat, hoping for something good to come from it, but then realizing they're on the downhill and downhill fast, and the panic starts to ensue. The panic begins. Get her out of there immediately. Oh my Lord. I mean, they've got nothing from this interview. And you know how I know that? Well, the proof's right at the Kamala HQ on X, folks. The beacon of misinformation online. I'm actually baffled by the dishonesty here. Well, kind of, not really. I'm not surprised by anything these days. But anyways, I was just watching the Fox News panel reaction to this disaster of an interview, and everybody unequivocally was like, that was horrible. Kamala Harris didn't answer any of the questions. She seemed dishonest, not prepared. She didn't want to engage, yada yada, you get it. But according to Kamala HQ, all those panelists were singing her praise. We got 3 tweets here from 3 Fox News hosts and contributors, and you'll notice something interesting about these clips. One of them is 8 seconds, the other one is 6 seconds, and the other one is 9. Apparently, the Fox News panel was singing Kamala Harris's praise.
At times, especially when she was trying to go after Donald Trump, she was fairly effective in that to try to get her point of view across.
Well, she was combative and energetic, and she certainly landed some blows on Donald Trump.
You did a great job because you asked the tough questions and you went back at her with tough questions, and she should be pleased with how she performed this evening.
No, that's not what happened at all. I just watched these guys react to this. You know, they added like a little blip of positivity, like, okay, you know, she had some attacks on Donald Trump. They did say that, but then they immediately followed it up with, which I think will work well with her base, but overall she was a disaster. This is what they've got. Taking clips out of context and posting it to the internet as if everyone on Fox News was singing her praise. That didn't happen at all, like not even close. The Kamala campaign is in full panic mode, folks. You can't make this stuff up. This level of dishonesty is specifically reserved for the most desperate of times. And it's plainly obvious here that the Kamala campaign right now has their backs against the wall. I mean, this was bad. In fact, I think it was so bad, they can't spin it. 8-second clips out of context won't change anything. The reality was abundantly clear.
You call Donald Trump, he's misguided. You say now
he's
unstable.
He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Trump has
all of this money
has treated and talked about America's military and military service people, calling them suckers and losers.
Hamas
has diminished
and
the significance.
We're talking over each other. I apologize.
Well, I would like that we would have a conversation that is grounded in full assessment of the facts, which includes, I think this interview is supposed to be about the choices that your viewers should be presented about this election, and the contrast is important.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the subject of Iran, I am offering what should be an important contrast that is presented for folks to make a decision
and there are critics
that they feel.
Who look at what the administration did and say and think differently. Madam Vice President, they're wrapping me very hard here. I hope you got to say what you wanted to say about Donald Trump. There are a lot of things.
There's more to say. I have much more to say.
There are a lot of things that people want to learn about you and your policies.
Frankly, exhausted of Brett.
More than 70% of people tell the country is on the wrong track. They say the country is on the wrong track. If it's on the wrong track, that track follows 3.5 years of you being vice president and President Biden being president. That is what they're saying, 79% of them. Why are they saying that? If you're turning the page, you've been in office for 3.5 years.
And Donald Trump has been running for office.
But you've been the person holding the office.
Come on.
Madam
you
Vice
and I
President.
both know what I'm talking about. You and I both know what I'm talking about.
I actually don't. What are you talking about?
Total disaster. 20 minutes of Kamala Harris refusing to answer questions. Donald Trump this, Donald Trump that. Obviously, they didn't understand the mission. They didn't understand the job. What was the purpose here? What was the goal of this interview? There was one goal. Kamala Harris had to explain who she was and why her ideas are better for the nation than Donald Trump. And obviously, spending 20 minutes going on about Donald Trump doesn't do that. You're not on CNN. You're not on MSNBC. ABC, CBS, pick the leftist network, where everybody watching is just waiting for you to say Orange Man bad and then clap like a bunch of frickin' seals. You're on Fox News, where Republican voters, independent voters, and moderate Democrats are watching, people who are on the fence. And she essentially went Orange Man bad for 20 minutes. Disaster. It's plainly obvious, and even her own staffers clearly understand this. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.